Hi, this is David Jenkins, your host for this La Plata Ward 4 Update podcast and video. Again, Dave Jenkins, your current town council member from Ward 4. Today is Saturday morning, April 26th, and I just wanted to jump on real quick and provide some additional information and respond to a series of town council candidate forums, which have been held, I think 3 of them. I've had a chance to either watch the videos, attend one in person, but also read the responses from each of the candidates. Again, I think these have been terrific opportunities for the citizens to know the candidates, know why they're running, and know their stances on critical issues facing the town. So I applaud the organizations. The one was the 4th and 5th Democratic Club on April the 14th. There was another I saw the tape of a Zoom interview of all the candidates, I think earlier this week. And then I know Strong Towns, an organization of which I'm a part of, and we have a local chapter called Charles County Strong Towns. And I'm currently a member of that organization, and I'm one of the organizers for this local chapter called Charles County Strong Towns. So, I just wanted to come back and talk about one particular issue that was asked by all the candidates. Specifically, what is the source of their particular or specific campaign? Are they willing to provide public disclosure of their campaign finances, as well as indicate if they've had any in-kind or any other contributions to their campaign? And to provide a little bit of perspective, when I ran in 2021 as a candidate, I spent $5,000 of my money to finance my campaign. I did not ask or receive any in-kind contributions or any contributions of any kind. So it was self-financed, and the $500, I have a spreadsheet of what I spent. And I typically, most of the expenses were to, I think I bought 20 or 22 signs, had them printed up, and I had them on stands. I then did some additional expenses to create a little flash business card that I could hand out. And then I think I had some other incidental expenses with respect to internet access and domain access. But that was the extent of my campaign finances, about $500. But there's a related issue to that I really wanted to focus on, and that's what they call ex parte communication. And that's kind of a Latin term, a legal term, but let me, and pardon me while I read this, what that actually means. And this is the information I'm getting is from the Maryland Municipal League and the Maryland Department of Planning. They have an annual conference, and one of the conferences several years ago, they had an attorney talk about what is ex parte communication. So that is where I'm getting this information. There's probably other sources legally, but let me read this real quick, okay? So just bear with me. Ex parte communication. An ex parte communication includes an oral or written communication not on the public record to which reasonable prior notice is not given to all parties. What they mean by that is all parties meaning other town, council, or planning commission members and the public. Such communication between, in this case, they use the word commission members and interested person, is prohibited if relevant to the merits of a commission proceeding. That is, they're having a meeting or discussion about a project. Members, let me scroll down a little. Members should not discuss applications with applicants or with other interested persons outside the confines of a public meeting, but should recommend that the persons contact staff with any questions or concern. That just means if the public has a question, they should talk to the planning commission staff or planning department staff or the appropriate staff. Disclosure of ex parte communication. If a member does inadvertently, and that's a key word, inadvertently engage in an ex parte communication, the member should, at the next meeting in which the relevant application is to be discussed, state the nature of that communication and submit it for the record for any written communication, receive any written response to a communication, and state the substance of each oral communication received, and state the substance of any oral response to a communication. Or alternatively, the member may recuse him or herself from voting on a specific application. If the member does not disclose ex parte communication, they may be the subject of provision of Chapter 20, and they refer to a town ethics ordinance, of which we have one. So, and that's in a nutshell, and then one definition that I have of what an ex parte communication. So the intent is, again, what I've read from the Maryland Department of Planning and from the Maryland Municipal League and my previous experience in government is that ex parte is meant to ensure impartiality and fairness by, let's say, the Planning Commission, Board of Appeals, and hopefully the Town Council when they're reviewing projects, so that they are fair and consistent and impartial in making those decisions. And the intent is so the Planning Commission and the Town Council is looking with consistency with the Town Ordinance, our 2020 Comprehensive Plan, and any other requirements that are in the zoning ordinance. Now, a little background there as well. So people ask a lot, well, who are these people on the Planning Commission? They are citizens. They are appointed by the Town Council, and it's not a requirement, but the Planning Commission members should attend, and there's an online course they can take that's provided by the Maryland Department of Planning, and it's a multi-chapter course that talks about what is planning, and in particular what is planning generally in the state of Maryland, the consistency with the Maryland Smart Growth Act and other relevant legislation. It also talks about what the function of a planning commission is, as well as a board of appeals. So, because I'm a planner, I've actually taken that course twice, and it's I think a very informative. And I think I did provide a podcast several years ago about what that course is, and I can certainly provide a reference or a link to that in my notes on this video. So as I understand it, most, if not all, the current planning commissioners have taken that course. So that's good and that's important. I would also note that I believe the current planning commission, maybe 2 years ago, they have what is called rules of procedure. It's just a document that talks about how they're going to operate as a planning commission. I think it was updated 2 years ago, and I believe they have inserted or they've added an ex parte communication clause in their rules of procedure, which I find, again, from my perspective, very important and needed, again, to remove any hint of to make sure that they're impartial when they make decisions in their review of projects. That include development projects and other variances, rezonings, and annexation projects. I think that's important. But unfortunately, the Town Council, again, we have a separate rules of procedure, which we are supposed to review annually. I don't know. I'm not sure if we have done that in the current year, 2025, but we had done it the previous 3 years when I took office in 2021. And hopefully the new council, when they're elected and sworn in on May 12th, and soon after their first council meeting on the May 13th, they're going to be provided a copy of that. And then hopefully as part of their transition, because now it's their council, they're going to get a chance to review and institute what they believe should be the rules of procedure. And I would certainly advocate that they consider inserting this ex parte clause. I believe it's very important. There's been, over the last number of years, but particularly now that we're in the election season, there's been some concerns about the Planning Commission. There's been some concern about developers and whether there is or not any influence over that process. I'm not aware of that personally, but I'm only suggesting, and I would urge the candidates to really consider inserting a ex parte communication clause or element within their rules of procedure when they take office. And again, I believe the Planning Commission has it currently in their rules of procedure, but they're not in the Town Council rules of procedure. So again, I would just urge that happens. I think it's very important. And like I said, I did do a podcast about this. I think I posted it in August of 2023. So I'll repost that, as well as some of the notes from my transcript, so you have a reference to look at. And then I would close again by saying thanks again for listening and watching. And I'm in the process of updating my Facebook page and this platform to a new name called Crosswalks. And then I'm still getting used to, and I'm now on Substack. I have it as David's Podcast, but I'm going to go back and redo and change all that too, to make it a little bit more visible and not just about me. It's going to be about crosswalks and planning and development issues here in the town, but also in the county, and really expand it out to Southern Maryland. So again, thanks for listening and watching. Again, I'll provide the notes as well. So like I said, this is we had our last meeting, Town Council meeting, April the 22nd. That was my last official meeting. So I would get everybody to go out and vote on May the 6th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Town Hall. Again, before my email closes out, my town email, you can certainly email me with your questions and comments and observations at djenkins@townlaplata.org. Thanks again, and have a great weekend, and enjoy the weather. And enjoy La Plata Day today. Thank you.